Welcome back to 3 and Out. I'm Ryan Orlowski with Brian the Hitman Carter. Now's the time we open our inbox and read your email questions. If yours didn't make the show this time, try again next time.
All right, first email is going to be from Beth. It says, "Hey guys, who do you think would win at a game of horse if Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, and Mike Bibby were playing?" First of all, I know she's got a crush on Mike Bibby. It must be the Sox or something, but he does not fit in on that list. Between Kobe and LeBron, though, that would be a very entertaining matchup, and I honestly could see that being a never-ending game of horse or a never-ending slam dunk competition or a never-ending three-point competition. I just don't see, maybe one of them would probably give up over time or try something so crazy they would lose, but that would be very entertaining.
I don't really think there is a clear-cut favorite in a game of horse between Kobe and LeBron. Like you said, they could be playing all day.
Yeah. Next email is going to be from Barry. It says, "Carter, you must be pissed that Holt and Pace got released from St. Louis, huh?" Well, I'm going to have to say yes. I was more depressed, I guess, with Torrey Holt being released. The crazy thing is that Pace and Holt were the two remaining players that were from the Super Bowl 34 team. So that meant a lot to me. But Pace, in the last 3 seasons, has only played 24 games. And I think 13 came this past season. So that really means 9. And the 2 seasons before this past season, he played a total of 9 games. So he's been hurt quite often. He's at 30-plus in his career as far as age. I know that he was a former standout at Ohio State where he didn't allow a sack for his final 2 seasons in college, which is unbelievable, incredible. And they're great athletes, but you know what? It's time to clean house. When your team stinks like mine did this past season, you got to do something. Yeah. Time to move on.
You got to do something to turn their luck around.
Got to.
This next email's from Dwayne. "It seems to me like Mr. President has too much free time. I hear you had time to fill out an NCAA bracket." Well, you see Obama on ESPN a lot, but I kind of like his interaction with the fans. I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing. I know he's got other issues to deal with, but this isn't a bad thing that he takes a moment away and shows that he loves sports.
Yeah, and I got to say, I think a lot of that might be the fact that at ESPN, they love talking about Obama. So anytime he mentions sports, it's going to make ESPN. So it's not that that's all he's doing, I don't think. We've given him a little grief about it before. But honestly, I just think it's anytime he mentions sports, ESPN picks up on it because they're big Obama supporters. And they just put it up there on ESPN. So, that's why you hear about it. But I do got to say they made too big of a deal about it when they said out of the first day of the bracket, he got 11 of 16 choices right. And I'm looking at my bracket, and I had 14 out of 16. And I'm like, what makes him so special? So whatever.
He is the president.
Yeah, that's why. Next email is from Zach. "Marvin Harrison has to have a new home soon. Where will he be?" That's an interesting question. I've heard rumors that maybe he's going to play for the other Manning. Maybe he'll be taking passes from Eli in New York. I guess a lot of that would have to hinge on Plaxico Burress' situation, where he ends up going. It's really tough, though. I could see him going to the Rams because now we need a wide receiver. I could see him going to the Eagles. McNabb needs a primetime target. There's a lot of teams that need that wide receiver depth. Unfortunately, there's still a lot of guys out there. Matt Jones, one of those, and Marvin Harrison. T.O. is free for a while, but now you got Torrey Holt and Isaac Bruce are out there loose, and then you've got a lot of guys coming in through the draft that could be picked. So it's going to be interesting.
I can see Marvin Harrison going to the Philadelphia Eagles to reunite with Donovan McNabb. Both of them played together at Syracuse. So I can really see that happening. Also, the Chicago Bears. This is a team that has a good defense and a really strong running game, but they really don't have too many receivers, so they might go out and spend some money and get Marvin Harrison.
Good idea.
This next email is from Alan. "How in the world does a team like the Dominican Republic fall twice to the Netherlands in the World Baseball Classic?" Well, you look at last year's New York Yankees. Great players don't always make a great team because there's not always going to be chemistry there. Some teams play better as the underdog, and the Dominican Republic, they certainly weren't the underdog coming into the World Baseball Classic. They expected everyone to lay down for them, in my opinion, and as a result, they were flat.
That, and then you also hear that Felipe Alou, he was pretty upset about the whole situation, that people like Albert Pujols weren't representing the team. And he was kind of bitter about it, but a lot of that boiled down, and he felt that the team wasn't well represented by some of the major leaguers. But I got to side with some of the players. A lot of those players weren't able to participate because they had some injuries as of late and weren't able to get insurance to play for the Dominican Republic. And I'm sorry, if you don't get the insurance, then if you got hurt playing the World Baseball Classic and then your team, your actual MLB team, you don't get your contract paid from them in full. So, it's a no-brainer. Some of those guys had to do what they had to do.
Next email is from Corey. Looks like Orlovsky was right. It seems like the Pens are just fine without Tarian. You know, it's great to see because the Pens are on fire right now. They're 5th place in the conference with 8 games left. They've been 7-1-2 in their last 10. They're getting hot at the right time, and I mean they're rolling when the playoffs are approaching. So it's great to see for the Pens.
Is that luck, maybe?
Yeah, you could say that. I think the players really stepped up their game and realized, look, guys, this is crunch time. We got to make a playoff spot here, and they're making their push. And it just so happens that they have a new coach while they're doing it.
Maybe they saw our segment on YouTube or something. Our last email is going to be from Seth. It says, do you agree with the Jags' decision to release Matt Jones? I'm a big Matt Jones fan because he played at Arkansas, but I got to side with him. The first time he got in trouble, it was because he got caught busting up cocaine in his SUV right in Arkansas. This time around, the story isn't 100% clear, but it boils down to, like, he took a random test. The team had come out to him and did a random test on some day where he had just been out on the golf course, and on the golf course he had drank a beer, or maybe a few. It doesn't matter. He's old enough to drink. He had some alcohol in him, and they completely cut him off the team. And he was their leading receiver despite missing about 4 games this past season. And now they're in some serious trouble. I think they're down to just like Dennis Northcutt is their veteran wide receiver, and that's all they've got. So I know there's a lot of free agent receivers out there. And again, there's a lot coming in through the draft like Percy Harvin, Jeremy Maclin, and Michael Crabtree. But I still think they made a mistake by getting rid of their top receiver.
I agree. With the way that they struggled last year, he's going to bring a huge gap to their receiving core, and I don't know how much more of a hit the Jags can really withstand.
Time for our gutterball fact for this show. It is, after a road loss, an Illinois high school team pees in the visitor locker room. Their season was then canceled. What do you think?
It's a harsh punishment.
I don't know. I mean, if maybe the circumstances would have been different if it was their own locker room. Like if they were at home and they peed all over their locker room, because then they would just have to clean it up. But like I can see that if you came into my house and peed all over the place just because you lost, I'd want your season canceled too. Pretty harsh, though.
I think it's definitely a harsh punishment.
Okay.
On that note, we're going to take a break, and we'll be back for our infamous More or Less segment. Direct hit.